Here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have another fantastic episode lined up for you tonight, and that is because Dr. Valerie Franc is in the house. Yes, she is here. She's literally standing off in the wings, the green room, the virtual room, and oh, look, she's actually scratching on the monitor saying, Brian, let me in, I'm ready. Not just yet. We're going to get started here in just a moment with her, and that's the reason you're here, is to listen to her, because the Mind Body Business Show is a show that I had developed to bring very successful entrepreneurs into the fray so that you can then listen to what got them where they are today. Why are they so successful? And what is it you can take from them and implement and model to then become either as successful as the people you're watching, or even perhaps more successful? Wouldn't that be even wonderful? So that is what this show is all about. It is about bringing on prominent entrepreneurs to help you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, to get yourself and your company and your business to the very next level. And that truly doesn't matter where you are today in your journey with your business. You could either be just starting out, you could just have not even started a business, or you could have a thriving business, 8-figure business with multiple branch offices and employees all over the place. I guarantee you, no matter where you are in either end or anywhere in between, you can get something and will get something from this show because of what Dr. Val is going to be telling us here today. It happens every single show. I know it. I can guarantee it without even having really gotten to know Dr. Val at a deep level yet. We had a little bit of moment to get to know each other before the show came on live, and she's amazing, and you're going to love her. And I can't wait to bring her on. So that is what the show is all about. And what it is about the 3 pillars of success. And these 3 pillars of success, I came about these as a result of studying only successful people for a good 10 years or so, on and off. And what kind of people are these? These are actual mentors of mine, people that I've worked with who had great success. These are authors, some of whom I've met in person, others who had passed before I even read their book. They've been long gone. Others that are still with us, but I had met all over you name it. Speakers, prominent speakers, just philanthropists, all kinds of successful people. And what I found when I studied these people, these 3 things kept bubbling to the top, these common themes, and they were really the namesake of this show. And by the way, I have a brand new book I just got my hands on today. I'm announcing it first time live right here tonight. Mind, Body, Business, the 3 pillars of success. The show we are watching right now is based on and was inspired by this book, because this book has been over 10 years in the making. I started writing this book quite some time ago. It's my life's work. I cannot wait to see what kind of impact it has on your life and other people's lives. And it is about those 3 pillars. And the 3 pillars are mind, which stands for mindset. So to a person, these very successful individuals had developed a very powerful, very positive, and a third one, which many people aren't even aware of, very flexible mindset. And body is literally about taking care of oneself nutritionally and through exercise. And do we have an expert with us on that here tonight? Ooh, this is going to be a good show. There are always good shows. And then business is very multifaceted. What these very successful individuals had done was they had mastered the various skill sets that are necessary to build a successful business and then to scale it and help it to thrive and serve more people. And these skill sets involve things like marketing, sales, team building, systematizing, leadership. I could go on for quite some time. And you might be thinking, well, geez, Brian, how am I going to master all of those? Because being an astute person, I know that mastering any one thing can take a very long time, and you would be absolutely right in asking that question. The good news is you really don't have to master all of those skill sets by yourself. No, instead, what you can do is focus on just one of them. And even as you are mastering that skill set, you can use it to leverage and pull in other individuals who have already mastered the other skill sets that you may not have mastered, or let's face it, you may never master because there's only so much time on this earth to master all these things. And that one skill set, if you just were to focus on one skill set right now, put the brakes on and switch over to it, it would be the skill set of leadership. And once you have taken that journey or going down that path, you'll see and discover and realize that you can just team up with people who have the skill sets, pull them into your business, make them partners, joint venture, the list goes on. There's your one incredible tip. That's it. That's our show for tonight. I am so kidding. All right. On one other wonderful attribute of very successful people is that to a person, once again, they are very avid readers of books. And with that, I want to segue very quickly into a little segment I affectionately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, Dr. Val's coming on, I promise. I see etchings now in the glass on the monitor from her scratching, saying, I'm ready, let's go. Yes, in just a moment, we're almost there. So Reach Your Peak Library is a resource that, again, I had put together with you in mind. This whole show is with you in mind. And why? As a non-avid reader for the first 47 years of my life, I discovered then, about 12 years ago, I'm going to give you a second to do the math. Yeah, you all got it. About 12 years ago, I began reading voraciously and realized, wow, what a resource. And it doesn't cost thousands and thousands of dollars. They're books. And so I put this site together and I had my team add books as I completed them. Only the books that I found that had great impact on me in my business life or my personal life, or even both. And real quick, pause for just a moment, if I may. You are going to be given many resources on this show. Dr. Val will be the one giving most of the resources. This is one right here, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Now, it's going to be very enticing for you to go off and research this while you're watching, listening. And by the way, if you're not watching live, you should be. You need to go to themindbodybusinessshow.com, themindbodybusinessshow.com, and click on any of the buttons that say where and how to watch, and register so you'll never miss another episode. And you can join us and interact and engage. And you can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments of Reach Your Peak. Yes, you have to be watching live for that. And so you're going to be taking notes. That's the whole point of this. You want to take notes. I'm running the whole show and I'm taking notes. And then when the show is over, then go visit those resources. Why? Because the magic happens in the room. I would just absolutely be torn apart if you happen to hear a resource from Dr. Val as she is at that same moment divulging that golden nugget that will potentially even save your life, but that will take your life to that next level of wonderfulness. And if your focus was off somewhere else, clicking and watching videos and reading other websites, I would just, that would be a horrible thing. So please take notes. Write down. You can start right now. Get practice. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Write it down. Visit it after the show is over. It will still be there. Right? Trust me. We'll have book references. We'll have all kinds of great stuff. So please, that's my soapbox moment for you, not for me. Stay focused. Stay in the room. This came to me by experience from speaking on stage. That's another story for another time. And I want to go and show you very briefly just that the books are in here in no certain order. They're not alphabetic. They're pretty much just dropped in there as I was reading them. You can see there's the great Les Brown. There are so many great books in here, and I'm way behind. There's many books that need to be added. But the whole point of this is so you have a resource to go to. If you get your book, say, at Barnes & Noble, find the title you like the most and go to Barnes & Noble and buy it. This is not here to make money. It is here to give you a resource of books that are at least vetted by one other successful individual. So your odds of wasting your time are greatly reduced. It's about efficiency. That is what it's about. All right. That is enough about me. That is enough about Reach Your Peak Library, because it's time that we talk more about Dr. Val Franc, who is coming on right now. Are you ready for her? I hope so. Here she comes. Yeah.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there she is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is the one. It is the only Dr. Valerie Franc. Yeah.
Thank you for that fantastic introduction.
Oh, so well deserved. And, I had that written just for you.
I could tell with the scratches. I'm sorry about messing up your green room.
So who needs a nail file these days? Just show up as a guest on the Mind Body Business Show, right?
Exactly.
Get those babies ground down to a nub and you don't have to ever worry about it. So let's bring you on with some professionalism, with some respect that you deserve. I'd like to open up by giving people an idea of who you are, what your background is, and just give them an insight, and then we'll dive into the deep stuff. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Ooh, I love it. Okay, Dr. Valerie Helena Franc is a dynamic and inspirational naturopathic doctor, speaker, and world traveler. Pause. Speaker. Notice how many people on this show are also speakers. Think about that if you are not. And she's also a world traveler. She has combined her passion for holistic health and wellness and over 24 years of clinical experience. I don't believe her because she's not even old enough to have that much, to create a unique approach combining the best of modern medicine with ancient wisdom. After completing her degree in nutritional sciences and becoming a naturopathic doctor, she furthered her skill set by pursuing certification in hypnosis. Ooh, I love this. Becoming a yoga instructor, mind and body right there, and completed additional training in acupuncture and traditional Asian medicine at Zhejiang Teaching Hospital in Hangzhou, China. I got her to help me with the pronunciation of those. Thank you. Dr. Val has taught at the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine and the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition, and is a sought-after guest speaker. She's here, isn't she? Yes. Along with hosting live retreats around the world, Dr. Val also co-hosted the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle radio show, and in 2022 was team doctor for Vanuatu's women's beach volleyball team during their pro tour through Italy and at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK, where they won the bronze medal, probably because of her and all of the great advice she gave them to operate at peak performance. Ladies and gentlemen, officially, formally, I give you Dr. Val Franc. Yes.
Thank you. What an introduction. You slayed it. Great pronunciation.
Thank you. Yes. It's a funny backstory because I literally asked you, how do I pronounce all these crazy words? And I retyped them in phonetically. So I was like, I can't mess this up unless I still could. I am still myself. I can still mess it up. So I wanted to open up by talking about one of my favorite topics, and I can see you're all about it, which is mindset. And what I like to ask is, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, and nothing could be farther from the truth that it's all super easy. It's a path filled with rose petals. And at the end is your hammock, and you get in there and you get your little drink and you just sway back and forth and rake in tons of money. It doesn't work that way ever. And it's a very difficult thing to be as an entrepreneur. It's very trying and challenging. And that's one of the reasons I love it. I'm sure it's why you do. We're built differently than most people, but those watching the show are probably similar to us. But the thing I wanted to ask you is, when you get up in the morning, knowing all of this swirling activity is going on, needs to be addressed, issues have to be resolved, some of them fun, some of them arduous. Knowing all of this is in front of you as you're coming to in the morning, you wake up, you pull yourself out of bed. What is going through your beautiful brain that is keeping you driven, motivated, and just, I am never going to stop no matter what? What is that for you?
Short answer, love and gratitude. Longer answer, I had a mentor who stepped into my life at a point in time that was a very challenging time for me, probably one of the most heartfelt times of my life, when my father passed away.
Mm.
And he stepped into my life and he shared with me his mindset tools. And he shared with me that he never gets out of bed without being in a state of love and gratitude. And he will think about what he's grateful for. And he will just connect all of that gratitude. And as soon as you have that gratitude and you're grateful for the bed that you're in, the food that you have, your family, your friends, your health, just getting in that state of love and gratitude, once you get up from there, everything begins to flow. And he gave me little tools and tricks that I might pass along for continuing that gratitude practice. So I do gratitude first thing in the morning. And then he taught me to do a victory book, which you can also call an honor journal. Or some people call it a brag book. Like, look at how much I rocked in my life, right? Look at all the great things I've done. And then I do, he suggested a vision board, but I'm type A personality. So I have a vision PowerPoint. I don't like messes. So I have a PowerPoint of everything that I want to create and bring into my life. And I connect to that gratitude, and I connect to why this is important for me to be in the world with love and to be of service. And that's how I start my day. Nothing happens before I do that. And that just hits the reset button.
And I got to tell everybody watching, listening, some will go, what the heck does this have to do with business? And I will say everything, and not just business, but life. Yeah. And what you'll find is business and personal life, they are very similar. And if you somehow try to separate them, you might have conflict. But what you just laid out is a perfect recipe for anyone to start their day. I have heard, I can't tell you, and none of them are bad, but I've heard of many quote unquote rituals or habits that people have gone into when they get up in the morning, maybe jump into a super cold shower and shock the bejeebers out of their system, which not me. Not everything is for everybody. You do what works for you. What you just explained is super simple to do, and anyone literally can do it. And the only result you're going to get from it is something good. There's no way you can go through an attitude of gratitude like you just explained and come out with a frown on your face on the other side. Absolutely no way. It's impossible. You can't when you're that thankful and grateful. Yeah. And I love that attitude of gratitude. I'm such a big proponent of that. I mean, where we moved to, we're living in Florida. I am grateful every day for everything I see and experience. And it doesn't matter what your situation is, does it, Dr. Val? Can you be thankful for things that you might not otherwise think, wow, that was actually really, I should be thankful about that. That could help somebody that may not be in a place where they think it's all that great and rosy?
Absolutely. You can walk today. There are people who can't walk. You got up this morning. There are people who didn't get up. There are people who lost their child today. There are people who don't have enough food to eat. There are people who are being bombed in different countries. I can't even imagine what that would be like. One day living in peace, and the next day you've got to leave your house, and your house is just shattered and destroyed. And you don't know where your family is. In North America, we are so privileged. And especially here in Canada, we've got so many resources and so much support in terms that we can access from our government, that we get our health taken care of. We can access if we need to. It might not be the best quality of food, but we can access food for the most part, and shelter. So there are countries where that's not happening.
Yeah, it's true. It's like there's an unending amount of things to be grateful for. Like, thank you for my eyesight if you are sighted. Thank you for my ability to hear. I have this horrible tinnitus going on in my ears most of the time, but I can still hear through it. And so I'm thankful that I can at least hear. It actually got a lot better just yesterday, which blew my mind. That's another story. But everything. I mean, thank you for the ability to feel the wind or the sun on my face or skin. And
I was, I was speaking to someone yesterday, and he was very physically active, always kept himself fit in the health and fitness industry, and he ended up getting an injury, and he's having a challenge walking right now. And he's like, people don't even think about it. He's like, now I have to think about it. He's like, this is awful. How do people live like this? Right? So, there's always something to be grateful for.
I can so relate to that story for sure. I've had both shoulders, both one under surgery, 1 year apart from each. They both recovered. One started going downhill. I couldn't go to the gym anymore. It just hurt too much, and I didn't want to make it worse. And I was depressed about that. But I was thankful that I finally found something that works, got my shoulder back in strength. It's like a weird exercise. It's awesome. And I've been going back to the gym for the last couple of months, 3 months, and I'm gaining my strength back, and I feel great. I am so thankful. Oh, I just told my wife, I felt like I just went back to an old friend because I was able to go to the gym again. That's where I've hung my hat for many, many, many moons. I love going to the gym and just getting it on. All right. So you have a phenomenal business, and we all heard about, your background in the opening, being a naturopathic doctor, and it's pretty amazing. I love that whole approach. It's because it's on the natural side of things, where I believe we were intended and designed to be, if you will, medicated or healed. I don't like that word, medicated, healed, but it's still medicine if you think about it when it comes down to. So, let's just jump into it, because I'm curious. This is about everyone operating at peak level of physical performance, which will help your mental acuity as well in performance. What is your business like? Who is your ideal client? Like your avatar? Is it women, men, certain age groups? Is it companies, businesses, all the above, whatever that happens to be? And then what is it? What are the services you provide to these individuals or companies? And third, and most importantly, if you have a success story or two you'd like to tell about the people you've worked with, I'd love to hear that as well. If you don't mind, and I'll pull up your website and we'll let that gently scroll as you tell us all of that. Do you remember all the questions? I know it was a lot.
It was a lot, but we'll go through it. And if I can ask questions, if I can't remember,
Sounds good.
You're really good at directing, so it's fine. So to start with, my ideal avatar, my ideal client, I call her Brilliant Beth, and she is a CEO or an MEO. She is just one of those women who is continuously go, 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 perform, perform, perform. She likes living a high performance lifestyle. And because of the high performance lifestyle that she's lived, she's wrecked her health. And because she wasn't taught how to fuel her body. And so because of that, she's coming to me and she's kind of saying, hey, wait a minute. I've gained some weight. I have low energy. I want to get my sexy back. I need to be performing. Maybe, the hormones are out of balance. She thinks, I'm getting old. And she's not. And maybe she's gone to her medical doctor, and her medical doctor may have done every test underneath the sun and said, hey, you're normal, but she knows she's not right. And she wants to perform at those higher levels, but because she has been performing at those levels without supporting her nutrition and her lifestyle, she's hitting burnout. And so those are the people that I love to work with. So I've worked with a lot of women. I do work with men as well, but I work with high performers and people who don't want to settle for anything else. So
I love it.
Now you can direct me to the next question.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. So what now that you're looking for high performers, and I just want to point out what a wonderful job you have done in defining your avatar. So many people miss the mark on that. You had it down to the name of the individual, and your target market. That doesn't mean, like you just said, it doesn't mean you only cater to women just because your ideal client is Brilliant Betty. Is that it? Brilliant Betty. I love that.
Brilliant Betty or Brilliant Beth. I have a sister-in-law named Beth who's absolutely brilliant, and I love her. So, I can name my avatar after her. Beth, I love you. You're awesome.
I can't read my own writing. I am a mess today. It is Beth.
Betty works as well.
I love it. But the thing I wanted to point out to all of the people watching who are themselves entrepreneurs, business owners, who maybe have not refined their messaging yet, what Dr. Val just did was a master class in how you define your avatar. And because once you have that, all your messaging on your website, in your emails, you're writing to Brilliant Beth, not Betty, Brilliant Beth. In her mind, she knows who that is, and she's writing to that specific individual, and that will attract her the clients she wants, that she can basically serve and help them. And that's the next question is, what is it that you do for Brilliant Beth when she comes to you? She finally makes that decision, calls you up, reaches out to you on email. I need your help, Dr. Val. And Dr. Val says, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Well, basically, I help her get her sexy back. That's what it boils down to. Because what happens with a lot of women is when we lead that go life, it's the same with men, but women, our hormones will go out of balance faster than men's. So we need different support than they do. So if you have someone who is a mom and then has a career and then is trying to do all of these other things and kind of, be the empress of the world, if you're not fueling yourself, she's going to crash. So she calls me up and says, okay, I don't want to live like this. I can't live like this anymore. I need to perform. I need to take care of my family. I need to take care of my career. I've got, people counting on me and depending on me. And she ends up knowing like, hey, my health is my wealth. So what happens is we take her and we say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to work together and we are going to do a really deep dive. So, like those Star Trek scanners that kind of like look and you can see every part of the body. It's kind of like that, but it's not a Star Trek scanner. So I take a lot of detailed notes. I take take a lot of information, and then we dial in according to the testing, according to what we want to see. We look at hormones. We look at what happens with the immune system, how the immune system is dealing with foods. If there are any nutritional imbalances, we look at what's happening on a cellular health with the mitochondria. For those of you who know about sports nutrition and energy, everything's about the mitochondria, and anti-aging, it's all about the mitochondria. So we look at those parameters and we take a deep cellular and genetic look at what is happening within the body. And we dial in that nutrition, the vitamins, minerals, nutrients, the lifestyle, how people should be eating, the types of food that they should be eating according to their biochemistry, their body's biochemistry and their DNA. So we individualize everything and to the lifestyle. So I'm going to hold her hand because I will tell you, when you have Brilliant Beth, she doesn't have time to cook a lot. Nor does she necessarily want to. Some do, and that's fine. I can help with that, give recipes, but I will hold your hand and make sure that what I recommend is going to be workable in your lifestyle, because you're too busy to read the books that I've read or spend the last 25 years or 24. Well, actually, if I think about the learning opportunity now, we're like heading towards 30 years. So 4 years at the Naturopathic College, then 4 years of an undergraduate in nutrition, plus 24 years in practice. That's a lot of years. You don't have that time. You're not going to read that many books. You are not obsessed like I am. So I will tell you what I've already distilled, and I've distilled it down to a science and a formula that is all individualized to you. And so that's what we do.
That's fantastic. And the last part of the three-parter, do you have a success story you would like to share with us on a specific individual? I'm sure with all the years of experience you've had, you've been able to help a lot of people. And I'm sure there's a couple that rise to the top, but let's take a moment and just pick out one if you don't mind. And let's sing your praises.
The one story that I want to tell is one that I actually think, in talking to you, I think you're going to really appreciate it. And it was my mentor, Mark von Musser. And so we were talking, and I'm just doing a podcast with Dave Hemstad, and episode 4 just got dropped. And my mentor and best friend, Mark von Musser, he talks about his journey and he talks about this story. So he and I started working together on his health. And we first started just to get him in shape. He likes bodybuilding. He wanted to be super lean. He wanted to have a superhero body. And so what he was doing was he was getting something designed by someone who works with bodybuilders and puts them on stage. And he was getting certain results, but he wasn't getting what he called that stop traffic look. So we started doing work together. And I was looking at the foods. We dialed it into his DNA. We dialed it into what his biochemistry was asking for. And I said, like this stuff might work for someone else, but here's how we need to individualize it to you. And so when we were working together, we got him before he started his 6 weeks of cutting. So people who know bodybuilding, you have to cut down and to lean out. He was looking as good as he did when he was at competition ready before the 16-week cut when we started working together, because we were able to drop the inflammation and design everything to his DNA and his biochemistry. So we got him these amazing looks. So he was at the point where he was looking like Daniel Craig when Daniel Craig comes out of the water like James Bond. He was like stop traffic, super lean, buff. And then he got injured. And he ended up snapping his patellar tendons on both. Quadricep tendon on one side, patellar tendon on the other. So no knees.
Ugh.
Completely. Yeah. So what he talks about is how, everything we did up to then was preparing him for this moment. So he's got shattered tendons on both sides. He's got to go in for surgery. He was sitting in a hospital for 5 days before they could fly him back home. He lucked out and got this amazing orthopedic surgeon, has the surgery, but they say, okay, listen, you're going to be flat on your back for 2 months, and then we'll bring you in and then we'll start rehab.
Oh.
So I was working with him, and I'm going to connect you with David Thunder. He's a movement specialist. You're going to love this guy. We had a team together. So Mark worked on the mindset. I worked on the nutrition and the healing from the natural perspective. And David Thunder worked on some of the movement. We had him standing within a couple of days. We had him able to pedal a bike, walk upstairs, and walk into the orthopedic surgeon's appointment without a cane.
Get out.
In 2 months. No word of lie. It's on episode 4. He talks about it. I've got the pictures. It's happened.
Awesome. This is with 2 completely blown out tendons. All of that.
Yeah. And you know how they have to drill the holes in the bone of the knee and then stitch it all up? That invasive.
Wow.
So with what you're talking about, the mindset piece, Mark was just focusing on, I've got to master the mindset. And he's really great at that. So you're going to love him. But he had the body piece too. And so in combining all of that and working together as a team, we were able to optimize him. We were able to achieve what other people would think was impossible. His orthopedic surgeon was just blown away. He couldn't understand. So then he said, within 2 weeks of being in that orthopedic surgeon's office, the orthopedic surgeon says, in 2 weeks, you can start going back to the gym and you can start squatting.
What?
Within 10 months, he did a marathon. Half marathon.
2 weeks after surgery?
2 weeks after the 2-month appointment.
Oh, okay.
So 2 months and 2 weeks later.
Bill, that's quick.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Considering they weren't even going to take the braces off for 2 months.
Oh, my God. It took me a year to get my shoulder back in the gym. A year.
I know, because you didn't have the right team. You had the mindset, but now let's connect you with the whole team, right?
Dang.
The human body is just incredible at what it could do. And I love what you're teaching because it's so true. I had another patient. She's absolutely brilliant. I love her. And so she was we were doing some work together. And as we were working to get her health in alignment, she started tracking her health metrics and her finances. Ooh. And she watched the healthier she got, the more her income increased.
Yeah.
And she was an entrepreneur. So, and a solopreneur and the breadwinner of her family. And she was awesome. And I love her too. But So it's true what you're saying. The mind, the body, and your business are all interconnected. And most people don't know what they're truly capable of or what
Mm.
healing is capable of. I've had 30-year-olds come into my office and say, "Yeah, I went to my medical doctor and they said I'm just getting old because my knees hurt." I'm like, "Your knees shouldn't hurt at 30." What do you-
I
So,
yeah, I'd same. That's what they told me with my shoulders and then my knee as well. They just said I asked. It was orthopedic surgeon too. Said, "What's causing this?" And he just looked at me, and he was the sweetest, most loving guy on the planet. I mean, he's dealt with my dad and other people,
yeah.
and he just looked at me and goes, "Age." I'm like, "What? There's no recovery from that. I don't want that news.
Yeah.
I am not accepting that news, and I don't, and I
Yeah.
never will, because
No.
I'm back at the gym and I found ways to do it on my own.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot easier if I had known you back then. Where have you been all my life? Jeez,
It's probably it.
God.
But I love when people start to see what healing is really capable of and what the
Yeah.
human body is capable of. I love playing on that level. Like your body is a Ferrari and you've been driving it like it's a Ford F-150. And there's nothing wrong with a Ford F-150, but if you try to drive a Ferrari like that, you're in trouble. That's what's happening.
I love that. That's a great analogy. Oh, man. Oh, goodness. I mean, that is amazing. The recovery time, the fact that he walked into the orthopedic surgeon's office before his knee was repaired.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have a few questions because you were talking about a lot of
Sure.
great things like at the cellular level, genetics, things like that. Is this something you are now able to do remotely? So you're in Canada, and
Yeah.
there might be a lot of people in the United States, as an example,
Yeah.
that would want to really take advantage of this. And are you able to go and do all that analysis and set up that customized nutrition and exercise regimen remotely, and they don't have to visit your office physically? Is that possible?
Well, you can tell them to get a hold of me and book a fireside chat. I am very, very fortunate that I know a lot of people in a lot of different areas. So
Got
that is something where I can help in terms of if there's the possibility of them connecting with me, great, we can do that. But if not, I can direct them to people in their area. And I have a lot of doctors that I know in different states all over the U.S. That can help.
Wow. So you've got a nice network going on.
I
So,
do.
and I wanted to bring that up so that people that may not be local or close to you, at least if they have an avenue or an outlet, and hopefully you're partnering with these other individuals and you're sharing in the results, if you will.
Yeah.
That would be awesome as well. Is there some part of it that can be done, like say on Zoom calls or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they can still have that relationship with you, who
Yeah.
started this whole thing for them.
Yeah.
That would be important to me personally. If I were the client, I'd say, I want Dr. Val. I don't care about this other person over here in Florida, even though I probably will love them. It's just, no, I want Dr. Val. Get out of here.
I do know great people in Florida, though. Florida is an awesome state.
I agree. And we've just been here since last July, actually. We got here in July and then moved into this home we're in now in July. And talk about blessing and just gratefulness. Ooh, it's insurmountable, the amount of blessings we've been given. It's just hard to believe. I got to pinch myself every day. I am one of the most blessed and luckiest people on the planet. My wife is my wife. She's my high school sweetheart.
Oh,
I mean, I got to share. It's a real quick personal story. I just got these, as I said earlier, and I got several hard copy and several paperback. The first thing, I couldn't wait to rip into it, open it up, and sign it for her to give her my first autograph copy. So she has that now.
And did you leave a special message just for
Of
her?
course.
Like,
Yes.
this is for you.
Yes. To my
Oh,
love, to my everything, or you are my love, you are my everything. I love you. And then my signature.
that
Yes.
is awesome.
She
And
is.
I have to admit, I say that to myself all the time too. I'm the luckiest woman in the world. And I've got like little emojis for it that I text my friends every once in a while. Like, I can't believe my life. This is awesome. I get to hang out with metahumans. Play on this level. It's so fun. Yeah.
Meta humans. What is that?
It's what this woman that I know and really think the world of. Her name is Lisa Toste, and she's a coach. And she says, I want to hang around with people who do the impossible every day. And when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, because you become the 5 people you hang around the most. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. And so those people who do the impossible every day, I do hang around them now. They're great friends, and I call them metahumans. I'm like, you guys do things that are impossible every day. Like, that's just so fun. Like, you just play at this whole level of awesome.
And oh my gosh, what a great lesson for everyone watching and listening. And that is you do become just like those you associate yourself with most of the time that you're, alive and awake. And the thing I want others to also take note of is the people you chose, because what has happened is you yourself are a metahuman as a result, and you are impacting people in metahuman ways, because that story, it's nearly unbelievable. Literally, I haven't gone through what I've gone through physically. I'll never forget this, Dr. Val. I mean, I didn't have a torn rotator cuff. Nothing was broken. It was just dirty. It had bursitis and stuff. They just had to clean it out. So 3 little puncture wounds, suck it out, whatever they had to do. And then he says, it's going to take you about 8 months of rehab. I'm like, no way, man. I'm going to be up and going in no time for 3 puncture wounds. Wow. Oh my God. And then he said, it'll probably be a year before you're not even close. You won't be 100%. You never will, but it'll be a year before you're at the max. I'm like, no way. Well, he nailed both of them, probably because they got implanted into this thing. Mm-hmm. And I was not happy. I was like, this took way too long. And then the other one went. I'm like, no, if I had known you back then, and I'm grateful that I know you now, but if I had known you back then, I would have been up and running around in, 2 weeks? And then 2 months later after surgery, I'd be back in the gym. I'd be stopping traffic right now.
Exactly. That's the next stage now for Mark. We're like getting him to like the stop traffic again. And for me, I'm calling it the 90 days to great abs.
Do it. I love it. I always say, I got a 6-pack. It just happens to be under that kegger. Yeah.
Exactly. But I'm really appreciative of what you had said. And I really want to point out something that I know that you've highlighted on your show before, which is you also need a team. I don't do it alone. So, Mark was awesome in terms of really getting that mindset piece down. But we had David Thunder on our team too. So it wasn't just me in isolation doing anything. And Mark wasn't alone in his journey. And so what I'm hearing from you is like you had this team where the orthopedic surgeons were great. They were doing their job and they did it really well. But then you were alone.
Yeah.
And so that never goes well.
It went straight from there to a different person who was physical therapy, another genuinely awesome, amazing, beautiful human being. But same thing. Oh, it's going to take you a long time. All of them said the same thing. They marched to the same beat of whatever textbook told them it was going to take, is my guess. They're doing the best they know. They love people. They don't know any different. And I've always been one of those, but really, I'm always being discerning, very curious. Like, are you sure? There's got to be an easier way. It's got to be a faster way, a better way, a more efficient way, something. Always questioning. And I think that's the entrepreneur bug inside of me. It's like I'm never happy with just taking things on face value. I shouldn't say never happy, but I usually don't, and I really investigate things pretty.
You should always be innovating. Yeah. It's called innovation. And you're right. I think that's also intuition, because your body was going, I hear you saying that, but that's not right. There's got to be a way that we can access this optimal potential and optimize the body. So some people call it biohacking. I don't like that term. I think that's very mean to the body to hack at it. I love my body. Don't hack my body. But biotransform, I'm all about the biotransformation.
Yeah. Wow. I'm like speechless. This doesn't happen very often. I got to tell you, ask my wife. You're like, oh my God, you're not talking.
You're still thinking about how to pronounce some of those words, but that's what it is.
Yeah, let's review those real quick. No, I'm kidding. Those were I was telling Dr. Val before the show, and I'm reading through the bio. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need some help with this one. I said, you win the prize. Those were the most unpronounceable words I've ever seen that I'm like, holy moly, this isn't even, it literally was in a different language, some of it. So that's pretty good. But thank you for helping me not look like a doofus when I said
You did great.
And that's one thing I want to point out. We're giggling, we're laughing. It's very important to have fun at what you do. It's very important to inject, like that's where the passion comes from. Have fun, giggle, enjoy life, and then change lives and just have a great time doing it. And that's what Dr. Val is doing. Oh my gosh, it's got to be the most fulfilling position one of the most on the planet to do what you do, to see the results that you get to see and have a part in that. Knowing you have a team, what a wonderful thing to say that too. It's not about me, just Dr. Val, even though I'm completely awesome, which you are, that she has a team. She doesn't take the credit for everything. And that's ego. She has no ego. And that's another high quality in a successful entrepreneur, is to keep that ego at bay. We all have them. You're never going to get rid of them. Boy, do I know that too well. I'm like, gosh darn it, there it is again. Get off. But the more you can keep that at bay, the farther and faster you're going to move forward. The more you make about other people than yourself, the faster and farther you're going to move forward. The more you make mistakes, because ego doesn't want to make mistakes, the faster and it's like all of it puts together. So I'm getting on my preaching box here. So, gosh, there's so much I want to know. It's like the success story just blew my mind, literally. I'm like, there's no way to top that. In anything we say from this point forward, everybody, before I even go, let's go to this. You had a gift you wanted to give away. I normally do this later in the show. I want to give everybody the reward for staying on this time, because we have a good following on right now watching us live. And I want them to reap the benefits of spending and investing their time listening to your amazing backstory and your results and what you do for people, Dr. Val. So you had a giveaway, a gift that you had offered. Thank you. To give to folks who came on and watched this show live. So if you don't mind, I'll put that up on the screen. I'll bring your website up and we'll kind of walk people through how they can go about getting in touch with you and taking advantage of this great gift. Would that be cool?
Sure. That would be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Bring that up now. And then we're going to bring up the actual gift and I'll let you explain it, and you can direct me on your site to show them how to get there.
Sure. So basically, you can go to the website and you can click on book an appointment or fireside chat, the blue button. And then once you book your fireside chat, click on the 30-minute fireside chat. And then you get to choose your date. And some times will pop up and you can choose your time. And then once you click on the client information, you're going to have the availability of putting in your name and email and contact information. And then it will allow you as well to write a little message to me. And in that message, you can enter the code Mind Body Business. And not only will I provide for you just a wonderful fireside chat, we'll sit and get to know each other. We'll do a little bit of an assessment, but I also would like to offer a free masterclass to. I know you guys, you're so special. I really have loved listening to Mind Body Business as its own show. And the information that you give is so incredible and so important and so moving that I want to do something extra special for the people who are listening. I really appreciate you taking the time. It's been fantastic.
Wow, I was not expecting that. Thank you. Thank you on behalf of everyone watching and listening. I hope you take advantage of that. So those of you that are listening on audio podcast only, the website is drvalfranc.com. That is spelled drvalfranc.com, drvalfranc.com. And when you get there, go through the fireside chat button and then click on fireside chat 30 minutes. And if you wouldn't mind, and then go through the sign up process. And after you hit the submit button, that's where you'll be presented with a place to write some information. That's where you want to put in Mind Body Business as your code. And that will trigger her to say, oh, I'm going to give you the fireside chat and access to a workshop. My gosh, that's unbelievable. That workshop is worth a good deal of money for people who go to buy that and get access. Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
So
And we'll help you get your sexy back. We'll tune you into the magic.
So for those listening and watching that don't know, how much is that normally for people?
Well, normally that's $500.
Yeah. So, hey, take it seriously, people. And here's the other thing I like to say always, Dr. Val, to anyone offering a gift like this, not to you, but to those who graciously accept this gift. And that is to treat it with the utmost of respect, to treat it as though you paid full price, to go in and not be someone who was just going to waste Dr. Val's time. And everybody who's watching this show typically is not wired that way. But I just want to make sure that when you come, if there's any upfront work that needs to be done, if you're taking through any processes or forms to fill out, put your time into it so that the time you have with her is going to be absolutely the best and most fruitful for both of you. So be respectful. This is an amazing thing. She is offering not just something worth $500. She's offering her time, which is more valuable than anything on the planet. And yes, yours is just as valuable for those of you that are out there. So I just want to put that in place. But please don't let that deter you from take action. Action is rewarded. That is how Valerie, Dr. Val, that's how she became so successful, because she did what? She took action over and over and over again. And that's how you get there. So don't, if there's any part of you saying, I really should, I need some nutritional help. I want to stop traffic. If you're a guy, I mean, I'm thinking, man, that'd be great. It's like any of those things going through your head, then do this. There's absolutely no question here. So make that connection, get connected with, you can tell she loves helping people. That's why we have Dr. Val on the show, because she fits the mold perfectly. So thank you, drvalfrank.com and Fireside Chat. Oh, what I wanted to ask you was, on the Fireside Chat, what exactly is that? What does that consist of?
So the Fireside Chat is going to consist of us meeting together virtually and just talking a little bit about your health concerns. You have the opportunity to ask me any questions that you need. And then I've got some special assessment tools that we're going to go through together, where we can help in terms of you kind of figuring out, okay, how should you be eating and how should you be basically exercising, but mostly eating for your biochemistry. So a lot of people, they say, oh, should I be carnivore? Should I be plant-based? Should I be vegan? Should I be paleo? Should I be Mediterranean? And it's so individualized. So I'm going to help you sort that out and cut through the noise. There's no one right way of eating for everybody. And there's no one right way of eating even for one person for their entire life. So it really is, okay, let's sit down together and cut the noise and really start to figure things out.
Wow, that was a master class in its own right there. Because I did not know that. I did not know that it was customizable, like paleo or meat eater or vegan or vegetarian. I thought that there would be a party line and that was it. And that's where you also pointed out eating more than exercising, really. And it's so true, because we were talking about that earlier. I've worked out my entire life all the time, and that by itself did not really give me any kind of weight loss when I had the extra pounds. By doing that and concentrating on it, it helps for sure, but it is the diet that is the most important aspect and parameter of not just your weight and your desired weight, but your health. You want to do this in a healthy way. There are lots of diets out there. You'll lose a lot of weight, but you'll be very unhealthy. So that's why it's so important to reach out to someone like Dr. Val, because look, she said it already. If you're healthier, if you're nutritionally healthier, your finances are going to be healthier too. And that is just absolutely true, because you're more alert, you're getting more done, you have less brain fog and fatigue, and you just power through the day and get more done, and you're more efficient and you make more money. It just works. And take it from someone who knows personally. When I don't feel good, I don't make good as far as money. So I just made that up. I should make a book about that, huh? All right. I got it.
There's the next title for your book.
The next book, should you decide to agree to it, Dr. Val, might actually include you. Ooh. And
I love this concept.
there's a hint of, oh my gosh, and we're about at that point to reveal what that hint was all about. Just before though, so here's the thing. I close out every show with one very profound question. I started doing this on a random basis back when I first started the show. The show's been running over 5 years. And back in the early days, I would now and then pose this question during the show, and like, wow, that was a pretty profound answer. That's pretty neat. And so as time went on, I finally decided this about, I don't know, 3 years ago. Every show I close out with the same question because of the profound nature of the answer. So it's not the question, it's the answer that is amazing. And before I close the show and we close the show out together and ask that question, I did promise everyone another gift. If they remember, if you stay on until the end of the show, which you all have pretty much, yeah, you're there. You're close enough. You have earned it. You can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, compliments of Reach Your Peak. And it is a bona fide vacation stay. You're not going to be taken into the resort, pulled into the basement, strapped into a chair, water drip tortured into a timeshare. No, that does not happen. This is a bona fide. You are a guest like anyone else. It is just paid for. You know, the travel, you have to take care of the travel, but the resort is on us, on Reach Your Peak. So for those of you watching, and you must be watching live to enter to win, we know who you are. I'm going to put up a URL on the screen, a website. Write it down. Do not enter it yet. Wait till the show is over. Like I said before, write it down. We'll be monitoring. Don't worry. We see them all. Here it is. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. And so what you want to do is head on over after the show. Write this down now. ryp.im/vacation. All lowercase. ryp.im/vacation. And just as a hint, Dr. Val, guests can enter to win as well. Yes. ryp.im/vacation. I've actually had several guests win this. It is a random draw when they come in. And so, you know what? Why not? You put your time, your expertise, and that's very valuable to all of us. So why not include you in the draw? I mean, come on. That's just, and it's fun when the guest wins. I get to really shout it from the rooftops. So do that for sure. And now it is that unfortunate time to almost close out the show. But before everyone goes, you do not want to miss Dr. Val's answer to this amazing question. None of you. Don't go anywhere. So the cool thing about this thing, Dr. Val, is there is no such thing as a wrong answer.
Woohoo, great. I win.
Yeah, you're in. It's not a test. It's not a quiz. In fact, the exact opposite can be said about it, because the only correct answer, will be yours. Because it's going to be unique to you. That's what makes this so profound. And the other part of it is, if it takes you a microsecond or multitude of seconds to come up with the answer, guess what? That's perfect too, because it's your answer. So there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Now, about that, you might be included in the book. Your answer, given that it might be just long enough, could be included, hint, hint, wink, wink, in a collaborative book.
Wow.
With all of the past guest experts who have contributed. So you don't need to be quick, concise. You can expand if you want. It's completely up to you. And you're like, I don't even know what I'm answering yet, but okay. So with all that buildup and wonderment,
fun game. I'm liking this.
I love it. I've had others go, oh my God, just ask the question already. All right. It sounds like you are ready. Is that true?
Yes, I'm ready.
Dr. Val Franc, how do you define success?
Oh, that is a brilliant, brilliant question. And it is going to take a little bit, because I actually learned this when I was with the Vanuatu women's beach volleyball team with their coach, Steve Anderson. And this is a man who had led teams to Olympic gold medals. And I love his definition of success, because how he defined it was, it's not success if other people lose. It's only success if, when you reach it, you have fulfillment and everybody wins. And his personal experience that he shared with me is, he reached the top of his career. He was an Olympic level beach volleyball player himself, then went on to coach other teams, coached a team to the gold medal at the Olympics. And he's like, I did the best you could possibly do as a coach. I reached the top of my career. And then what? Like, where do you go? What do you do? Do it again? So he was telling this story and he's like, and I realized, he said, for what happened when I reached that peak is I actually kind of crashed a little bit, because what led me to that success, that external gold medal, literally, he didn't do it in a way where it fulfilled him. So for me, true success is following your passion and serving other people to their greatness through your passion, so that you're always innovating. It's like running up a staircase and you're building the next step as you're leaping to it. You're innovating, you're creating the next beautiful moment, the next higher level that you can serve at. And then you're creating a platform which allows you to serve so many other people, so that when you're winning, they're winning even greater, and you're inspiring others. That to me is true success. It's success with fulfillment. Ta-da.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Dr. Valerie Franc. Let's all give her a round of applause. That was phenomenal and amazing. And my God, again, the ego wasn't there. You're pulling from someone else who said, I resonate with that definition. That's mine too. And here's the greatest thing about that question, Dr. Val, and that is, I am not kidding when I tell you this. No two people have yet to answer that the same way. And I'll even take it one step farther. Not one person said the primary definition or reason for their definition of success had anything to do with money.
No.
That's what you find in those who are just starting out, who are in more of a scarcity mentality, which I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. We've all been there. But that's what I love about this show, is the people like you that come on it that have a level of success and experience where money is just we need to make money. Let's be clear. The focus, though, doesn't have to be on money if you're not hand to mouth and you're just, I need it to make rent today. If you're a successful entrepreneur, now you can take your experiences, your talents, your God-given abilities, and you said it, serve more people. And that is what truly the essence of a successful entrepreneur is. I know that from doing this show for over 5 years and interviewing amazing people like yourself. So I just want to give you kudos and thank you for being who you are, for putting yourself through what you've put yourself through for, I don't know how many years. There's no way you're old enough to have that much experience, but we'll cover that at a different time. But
after the show, I'm going to share my anti-aging secrets. I got a lot of them.
Hey, it works. So she's actually 94. She told me in the back.
I look fantastic.
Not even close. But so definitely everyone take advantage of her wonderful, amazing gift. Go to her website at drvalfranc.com and go to the fireside chat. Be sure to take advantage of that and get to know this woman at a deeper level, because you can tell she's on your side. She has your back, and it's not success when other people lose. Oh, that is awesome. I love that. Do you have any last parting word of advice you'd like to give anyone who is, say, a budding entrepreneur looking to grow their business? And it can be completely related to what you do. It doesn't matter. But what would that piece of advice you would give to somebody that is just, that's your go-to that you would give to them?
I would tell them to follow their passion. For me, I'm a spark and go woman. And so I always have been. So what's always led me on the next adventure is I have this spark, like, oh, that's the experience I want. Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Oh, and I've always really chased that passion. And that has brought money into my life. That's what led me to my career. I went on this quest for knowledge, and so just follow your passion. Your passion will never lead you where you expect it to. I'll tell you that right now, but it'll never lead you wrong.
Oh, dang. That's another.
Let's write a book.
Another definition of success. Yeah, that's how many more books we got in this. Let's go another hour. Let's keep going. All right. Well, out of respect for everyone's time, including yours, Dr. Val, that is our show for tonight. And please, everyone, if you'll do just 2 things after we sign off tonight. Number 1 is go out and crush it in your business so you can serve more people. Model what you just learned from Dr. Val. I hope you took notes, and the next thing is to put it into action. And then second, and even more importantly, to everyone, to a person, please be blessed. That is it for us right now on behalf of the amazing, very young Dr. Val Franc. I am your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. And until next time, and don't forget, get your book, Mind Body Business, 3 Pillars of Success, available on Amazon today, 99 cents, Kindle edition, very limited time. Get it now, read it, and I can't wait for your review. I had to get that plug in. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great one. We'll see you again next time. Thank you, Dr. Val. You've been amazing. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.